Hi, this is Sean. We're back again with All Things Black. I have a new friend here.
Hi, I'm Malone.
Okay, Malone, is there anything you'd like to tell them about yourself?
Um, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. I currently live in New Jersey. Mother of one. I'm in school for criminal justice.
Oh,
And
that's wonderful.
yeah, and that's really it.
Okay, all right. We're glad that you're here today.
Yeah,
So, we are going to talk about colorism today.
gotcha.
All right. So, we can go ahead and get started. So, um, our first question is, what does the word colorism mean to you?
All right. So when I hear colorism, I think of being prejudiced or feeling a way toward someone darker, particularly within the same race. So that's how I look at the word. All right, so I would say like being in high school and have like say if I'm light skinned and my sister is light skinned and we hang out in school and we have lunch together and my sister comes along with a friend who's darker skinned. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't really want to hang out with her, or, I'm just, again, getting to know her just because of her parents, or, she's darker skinned, she doesn't look like us. That's one example. Maybe another might be, like, say you're choosing a team for volleyball, and it's two teams, and one of the teams choose all light skinned people, and the dark skinned people are left behind standing there, like, and you choose them because you have to choose them, or like
Yeah.
things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, good scenario. Why do you believe some people have negative attitudes about dark skin?
I honestly feel like it started with society. I feel like back in the day when we used to watch like VHS and like movies and commercials, it was always the lighter skinned people, R&B groups. You always seen the lighter girls in the front or the lead roles or the main
Yeah.
singers. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it started, and then I feel like because that had such a big impact on the public eye, I feel like everyone just rode that wave, like, oh, like not paying attention to us. We're in the background. Nobody ever said anything. It was nothing that was really spoken about, nothing that was really common. People were scared to talk about it, and it
Right.
was just became acceptable. Like, I'm a darker person, and it's like nobody else is talking about it, so why should I bring it up?
Yeah.
I really think that that's why, like, it began to be so negative, honestly.
Well, so you kind of already touched this. What role do you believe traditional media plays in promoting colorist stereotypes? I think you kind of already said a little, talked about it a little bit. But if you want to add anything,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I think of that's the first thing that I think of is media, only because it touches the world like so publicly. Like that's the biggest entertainment and TV shows and movies, and now social media is so big, and like it really has an effect on things. So I feel like people with like huge platforms and okay. So adding to what I said before, I just wanted to add that I feel like people are uncomfortable like with speaking about it, and I feel like people with bigger platforms and social media and Instagram, and it needs to be spoken about more because it's just like in the background, and a lot of us like small people, like we know
right?
like if we speak about it we might be judged
Yeah.
or we might be ignored.
Yeah.
I feel like the media should highlight that and really like we should start dealing with it that way so that it'll trickle down and kind of make people who's dealing with it personally feel more comfortable speaking about it.
Yeah. People, I'm reading this book by Dr. Wilder. It's called Color Stories. And so she's like into like researching colorism. And so this lady, Dr. Wilder, she said she had several women tell her, like, how dare you talk about that, like, out loud like that, basically. Oh, dark girls is ghetto. Or so then, I mean, So I guess you could argue that simply saying I don't like or I like light skinned girls is not colors. I guess you could, not you, but I'm saying I guess when somebody could argue that, but their reasoning behind it is mostly always a colorist reason. So I guess there could be a difference, maybe, but
I feel like you do
I
have a
don't know what it would be.
but I understand where you're coming from, but then I'm kind of like, because I'm a dark skinned girl and I like dark skinned men. Like I prefer dark skinned men. I have dated lighter men, but
Mhm.
maybe I'm basing my preference off of that one experience.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It's kind of confusing, but I do understand what you're saying.
yeah. But I mean, I don't want to reduce colorism to just like dating preferences because it has like, other like definitely real life consequences. So I don't want to go on about that too much. But that was yeah, okay. All right. So, but I mean, you made a good point. It really could, I guess it could really go either way. So how do you believe gender intersects with colorism? And I guess, do you think there's a difference between how it affects women and men?
I feel like it can and it has affected both genders. I do feel like women get it like a lot worse. I feel this way because I feel like it's more out there now, so that when it first started to occur and it first started to be out there with like the light skinned girls and this and that, I feel like at that time a lot of like darker actors such as like Denzel Washington, Morris Chestnut, like they were all lead roles.
Yeah,
Men, I feel like with guys it's more of a if they look good, they're cut up, they're
that's true.
it doesn't matter about
Yeah,
the skin,
yeah. I don't.
it's the body type, how they carry themselves, like, oh,
Mhm.
they've been in this many movies, like, okay, let's
Right,
cast for this role. But then
right.
with females, it's more, honestly, it doesn't matter how many freaking videos you've been in. You could have been an extra in 50 movies and know this person, know this casting director, you're darker skin. Oh, you're gonna be the sister, or you're gonna play the cousin. And
Yeah,
I feel like with females, it's a lot worse. I do feel like guys go through it. I don't feel like they go through it as often, but
yeah,
I feel like it is an issue with guys as well.
yeah, yeah. I agree. It doesn't. Um, and like, okay, if you would say, I feel like like from my studies in the dating context, maybe back in the day it affected dark skinned men, but like now, colorism does not affect dark skinned men in dating. They are the preferred man for light women, dark women, Latino women. So I don't think it affects them in dating. Now, maybe I think from what I've read with like jobs, if there was a study that found if there was a darker skinned man and a lighter skinned man, they would be more likely, even with control for like degree type and all that good stuff, then they would be more likely to give the job to the lighter skinned man because he appeared more to white people, because white people also are colored, are colors towards black people. So then they would be more likely to give it to lighter skinned men. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, and especially, but in like movies and stuff like that, in movies and dating, I don't think it really affects men like that. I really don't. But I mean, I'm sure they do have their experiences too. But
I can
yeah,
see
I don't think it really affects.
it's being picked for like the labor jobs, more labor
Yeah, that's
and
true. That's
out
true.
there in the grass and digging
Yeah,
up
I've noticed
holes.
that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay. All right. And so we don't have that many more. So we have what do you believe that colorism is institutionalized? We kind of already talked about it. Like, does it affect jobs, like socioeconomic status, like I guess how much time you get in prison, just any like institution? Do you think it affects it?
I think so, honestly. I feel like depends on who's at the top, depends on who's in charge. Like that's that's what they're gonna choose whatever they want to. So if I'm a racist, if I'm a racist, if I'm a racist and you coming for a job, and I thought that from your name it says Amber, and I thought you was Caucasian. Oh, I'm not gonna show it, but I'm gonna interview you because you're here. And then, all right, we decided to go with someone else.
Yeah.
So it all depends on who's in charge and who's really in control and who's at that high level. It sucks, but honestly, that's just what it is. Honestly,
Yeah.
it really
I agree.
sucks.
Okay. All right. So for our last couple ones, so do you what are some of your, if you have any personal experiences with colorism?
I have a lot.
Okay, girl, we got time.
I've heard. I actually wrote a few down. I've heard things like it's so crazy because I've been going through this for so long. Because just like in my YouTube video, I have two younger sisters and they're really light skinned. And
Okay.
my mom is light skinned. I'm like literally the only dark one. My dad is dark skinned, but he was never like in the picture.
Yeah.
So it's always just me, the darker one, and I've been hearing it for like years. And as a kid, it doesn't register to you that way because you're so innocent and you don't know anything about that stuff. And I've literally like debated with people on the street, like, please inform me. What do you mean by that? Like I'm very curious. No, not that way, but
What way?
right. Which way do you mean? Like, yeah, I have time today. Please explain it to me. Like, Pete, like, girl, I remember like being in the playground. I had to be like maybe 8, 9 years old, and I remember it was me and my two sisters, and it was like a bunch of people, neighbors that we met, and I remember this little girl. She was like Caucasian, and I like literally remember like I'm picturing it in my head. Like she was like, oh, like you guys come over here, like some of my sisters come over here, like you're on my team. And then she was like, you have to go over there with them. And I'm like, with my sisters, like, oh, no, these are my sisters. I'm over here with them. And she's like, no, you have to go over there with them. And I'm like, okay. And I went and I stood. And it was like literally one other African American boy. And it was like 5 or 6 lighter skinned, including my sisters. And I didn't really think about it. But it's just like, this little girl couldn't have been no older than me. And she's doing stuff like that. And it's just disgusting, honestly, especially coming from kids. Like, and we have to raise our kids in this society, and it really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Just things like that, like people being like ignoring me on purpose, like won't speak to me, like even dealing with people of like certain religions, and they put women down, or it's like you feel a way about that. It's all like the same thing, it's all colorism if you look at it. And it really sucks, honestly. So I've been through a lot, like my share of a lot of things. Like I literally just started speaking up because even like when I was like in my like young 20s, mid 20s, like I used to just brush it off like whatever, like you're miserable. But no, now I'm like, hold on, come here. Like I don't care if you're a stranger. If I bumped you in the street and you said something, like no, we gonna have a talk because I gotta give you a piece of my mind. Like I'm not gonna let it slide. That no, I gotta stand up for people.
Yeah.
It's crazy, girl.
Yeah. With families is um that's a big thing because I'm dark skinned, but my sister is a little bit darker than me, and people used to come up to my mom and say like, "Oh, she's so pretty" to me, and then not say anything about my sister or do or even, and my mom used to get upset about it, but my sister, she never really noticed it or understood it, but that's a real thing, especially when you're in families of people that are lighter than you.
Right.
You know, people.
Asking, we have the same dad. Like I've got that plenty.
Yeah.
We all have the same father. And is she? Does she have a different? Why does it
Yeah.
matter? Like
People don't know how genetics work, I don't think, because like, they're like, all your, is it, do you really think that all kids would come out the exact same skin tone, even though there's grandmothers and, all these people in your, I guess, lineage or whatever you would say, and that all the kids would come out looking the same way? I mean, that's just
ignorant.
so ignorant. Is so has your family ever, addressed anything like that or said anything about, do you think they've ever noticed it or
Honestly, I say my aunt, my mom's sister, because she actually has 2 daughters, and one of her daughters is really light skinned, and one of her daughters is dark skinned. So I guess she went through it, and like my cousin is like the darker one is a little older than me, so my aunt been dealing with it with her kids for a while. So when I started going through it and she noticed, she would like speak up for me automatically. Like she already experienced it, she knew what it was. But with my mom, I'm the oldest, so I was the first one, to go through that. And I realized my mom never really said anything or like stood up for me or like, because my mom was like, she's like the sweetest person in the world. So
Yeah.
if she feels uncomfortable, she's just gonna remove herself from the situation. She's not gonna put people in their place. But like literally, her sister is the total opposite. My aunt has stood up for me. My aunt has like threatened men, like got in men's face, like don't you dare, like just to the top, like ridiculous. So that's like the main person that has always like if she experienced it while being around me, she would like stand up for me or. But other people like they just ignore it or they don't care because it's not them,
Yeah.
and it's sad. Honestly, it's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So we have two more questions, but we're gonna just group them together because they're kind of like the same thing. So, do you believe that colorism will ever end, and who is responsible for breaking the cycle of color?
I feel like it will never end, and I only say that because slavery and racism still exist, and it's sad. That's the reason why I believe that it truly would never end. I feel like eventually we will come to a place where everyone is comfortable with it and it's just like oh it's cool whatever like whatever your preference is stay away from them if not whatever but I don't think that it will ever like just completely end and I feel like society social media and celebrities are I feel like they could possibly minimize it, like put it to a very minimum, honestly. But like I said before, we would honestly have to speak about it, like, and we need more people like us, like where we're darker skinned and we don't care to speak about it. We're open. We want to raise awareness. But I honestly feel like in order for that to happen, it has to start from like a higher power and people with power and people
Yeah.
with a crazy amount of followers, the Shade Room or whoever else.
Right. Because the shade room, they are y'all aren't helping, and it's so sad that people who
They
do
can
have
make
really
the
good,
change.
huh?
I was
Sorry, you
saying they can
breaking
make
up.
the change.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of bigger people could make the change, but maybe one day.
But I feel like that shouldn't discourage us. I feel like we should still stick together. We should
Yeah,
still continue making our videos about it, and spread
yeah,
the word because we can influence other little people like us
yeah.
to, make the change. And I appreciate it. Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much. Okay, well, this is Sean again with All Things Black and Malone, and bye.
Bye, guys. See you.